Hi, Roy here on my channel Roy Reads Anything. Anything including the trashy reads of Garbaugust, which is a month-long reading event devised by Criminally, and there are lots of co-hosts, which I'm one, and the details are all down below. And I'm going to talk about a couple of the things I've read for this event. So last week there was a theme of sex and or violence, which led me to the Baroness. The Baroness, Penelope St. John Orsini, known to the world as an exquisite society beauty, millionairess and international playgirl. But to NSA she is Coin, head of a crack team of super spies. The woman who can seduce a man with her body, or kill him with her bare hands. The deadliest double agent they possess. So this is the first in a series of 70s era, 74, 75, super spy action adventures. So there were a surprising number of female sort of super agent types of this ilk, and I think if you've been watching various Garbaugust videos you might have come across Cherry Delight, you might have come across the lady from LUST, that well-known security organisation, and there were loads more. I mean, I guess they're sort of super hyped up versions of you know, you had the girl from U.N.C.L.E., for instance, Emma Peel in The Avengers, but these are sort of taking that kind of stuff and dialing it up to 11.
Does Lady Penelope count?
Yes, even Lady Penelope sort of counts. Well, this is a Penelope. She's the real Lady Penelope.
The real Lady Penelope.
Oh dear, no.
Thank you, Parker.
Don't do...
Lady.
You would not want it to fall into the hands of young children, because this is a very pulpy novel of elaborate sex scenes and lots of action. It should be terrible, but it actually hangs together quite well. I mean, I found myself following the story and wanting to know what happened bizarrely. So yes, this Baroness, she is, as it says, she's got loads of money, stuff like that, and she just enjoys herself until she's called in to do the sort of spying type stuff, which in this case is to do with a kind of a mind control threat. So there's a drug called Ecstasy, presciently enough, which turns out to be the sort of ultimate version of it. Involves people having electronic implants that can give them like pure pleasure, which is so overwhelming that once you've had that you just do anything for it and become like a mindless kind of zombie, really. We're just wanting another fix of this kind of stimulant. So that's the sort of enemy, and she has indeed got a crack team of super spies who are quite diverse, quite interesting. So yeah, the lethal duel of wits we're promised is actually pretty good. Obviously, with sort of alternating sex and martial arts type battles, it's a very physical book, and also you've got the kind of arcane villainy of the supervillain and how that all works. And about halfway through I was thinking, this is like, it's like a work of art. It's like a Hieronymus Bosch painting, you know, the Garden of Earthly Delights, maybe, with all these figures contorted and strange and terrible. And then later on, spookily, the book speaking back to me, a character says, "This is like the Garden of Earthly Delights by Bosch."
Oh my God!
So, yes, there you go. So the Baroness, first of a series. I think there might have been more published in America. Both American and British ones have amazing pulpy covers. So that was a good read for, I thought, sex and or violence, without the or. Moving on. Now, there's also a bingo card for Garbaugust, and one of the prompts there is conspiracy theory. So I thought, I'm going to cover the cover up here because it's a cover of spoilerage. The idea that leading top Nazis are still alive after the Second World War, that's a conspiracy theory, and that's been used in fiction quite a lot. And I heard about this book, The Death of the Fuhrer, and I thought I'd read this. So I'll show you the American cover, because like I say, the Brit cover is in itself a spoiler. So here's the deal. The narrator meets an old guy, like playing chess in a cafe or something like that, who starts talking about his knowledge of the death of Hitler, and basically takes him to meet someone who knows what really happened. And what really happened, the big secret is in the bunker. Yes, they find the bodies, but the brain of Hitler has been taken out. Okay. So
it is really how they saved Hitler's brain.
They saved Hitler's brain. So the guy, now we're at one remove here, the chess playing guy when he was younger, he's the one who did all this. He's determined to sort of find out the truth of this matter and to track down the Hitler brain and stuff like that. So he infiltrates a castle full of Nazis. First of all, he actually manages to sneak into the bunker and find a load of clues, including, and this is an example, I suppose, of the level of realism, a monogrammed scalpel that tells him that the surgeon was in fact someone he knew. When he was younger, he was, they used to be boon companions, but then this other guy went off to be a Nazi, and that was bad.
Because there was only one person in the whole world with those initials.
Exactly. Well, yeah, had and skills to be for this advanced neurology. So then he infiltrates the castle where this guy lives, and he's there with a bunch of other sort of Nazi types, and it's very big and castle-like, and he's managing to come across as a supporter, and they're sort of, oh yeah, I saw Martin Bormann the other week in Paraguay, that kind of thing. And there's also a woman there who is a Baroness. So it's another Baroness, coincidence. Furthermore, this guy, they've actually developed mind control with electrodes. You put it in the back of people's heads, and from a distance you can make them do things and give them ultimate pleasure. So two of the same tropes are in there, the sexy Baroness and mind control. Weird synchronicity. So it seems that somehow Hitler is still alive because of this brain swapping business, but of all the people in the castle, he doesn't know which one it is. That's the kind of setup to about halfway through the book. Now, if you think you might ever read Death of the Fuhrer, stop now, because the rest of what I'm going to tell you will give you some spoilers. Okay. So, anyone who's stayed? Death of the Fuhrer. So, hero in castle, full of Nazis. Which one has the Hitler brain? Well, like I said, the cover was a bit of a spoiler, but here's what happens, and this is pretty twisted stuff. So, among other things, this book has some pretty terrible sex writing, which I'm going to read. But
please don't.
Well, people have turned off by now, so it doesn't matter.
That's all right.
Doesn't matter what I say.
Continue.
So, okay. So our hero gets together with the Baroness for dinner, and it's very warm. Please, she said, I can't find the zipper and I'm melting. I reached out with the trembling fingers and groped in the material. The zipper tab was hidden in the fold between her buttocks. I seized it, pulled down, and the dress fell away from her body as if parted by a sword.
What?
Huge white globes quivered crazily for a second, then swelled tight as she stepped out of the gown and kicked it aside like a discarded reptilian coat. I closed my eyes. She was wearing no perfume. The heat and perspiration sent waves of muskiness to my nostrils. When I opened my eyes again, she was back in her chair, chewing another sausage. I tore my eyes off her and looked down at the table, searching desperately for some words that my voice wouldn't betray. My champagne glass, still frosted, stood empty. On an impulse, I seized it and placed it over her left breast. "This will cool you," I said, trying to smile. She swallowed back food. Remember this, you're in an awkward situation. Yes, put a glass on somebody's bosom.
Champagne gas on the neck.
"This will cool you," I said, trying to smile. She swallowed back food and looked down at her breast, filling the glass.
How big a champagne glass was that?
Through that... I don't know. It doesn't give measurements. It's not the Bible. Through the stem, I could see her nipples swelling. Then suddenly the glass shattered into fragments. Our eyes met. See, it's like someone who's A, never had sex, and B, doesn't know any laws of physics.
Women's anatomy.
Yeah.
See, I'd like to go back a step to where he unzips the dress.
Yes.
Does it say the tab for the zip nestled between her buttocks?
Mm.
And then he pulled the zip
down.
Well, no.
Well, if it's a backless dress...
I suppose if it goes right down to her bum. And then... But then you'd just kind of get the shoulder straps and go... And you wouldn't need a zip. Trust me on this.
Is this what you're taking from us? Our eyes met. I thought she would be angry. Instead, she said Carl in a bleating tone. We stood up, moved around the table, and in one quick step and fell into each other's arms. Blah, blah, blah. Sex stuff happens. And they're making love. All the usual things happen. Her fingers dug into my arms with sharp nails. Her back arched spasmodically. She started to pull me deep down into a bottomless pit. Somewhere within my body, a train of cold liquid left its station, gathered speed with relentless fury, and plunged on to its destination. Blah, blah, blah. Eyes. Only then did I raise my trembling, terribly tired fingers to her head and slide them under the golden hair and feel the bony ridge across her skull. Only then did her lips part to give the fateful cry, "Ich bin der Fuhrer!" Which in the annals of fiction, of things that might cool the romantic mood, your partner having the brain of Hitler could well be somewhat detumescent. After that, there is captivity, chase, escape, lots of action, and a twist at the end, if that wasn't enough.
What kind of twist could top that?
It's, well, again, this is for the people who don't mind about spoilers. So again, if you still don't want the ultimate spoiler, at the end, remember this is all being related by an old guy to the author. The old guy, a nurse comes and takes the old guy away to the sanatorium, and he assumes he's a doctor. But then the nurse is like, "Oh yeah, visiting hours are." So it's like,
he's barking.
Is he mad? Yeah, well, yeah, which is a bit disappointing, really, when if you think you've
it's a bit like,
if you think a real conspiracy theory has been solved.
It's a bit like the Patrick Duffy waking up in the shower or whatever it was, and you don't know what I'm talking about, do you?
Of course I do. Yeah, it's famous, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
I don't like an ending that invalidates everything you've read up till that moment. Although, in this case, maybe that's quite a relief. So, that was some of my sex and or violence. I've got other things. Like I said in previous vid, this was like the week of dangerous women. So, back soon with something else. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.